Throughout the rich history of R&B music, numerous gifted artists have faced immense personal struggles, particularly in their battle against addiction. Despite leaving behind unforgettable songs that have become the soundtrack of generations, many of these musicians found themselves caught in the destructive grip of substance abuse and self-sabotaging behaviors. These artists endured not only physical suffering, but also the far-reaching consequences of addiction on their careers and public image. In this article, we reflect on the lives of 15 R&B legends who grappled with addiction, the deep psychological battles they fought, and the personal tragedies they experienced, all while their incredible talents continue to resonate and inspire today. We all have those unforgettable stories about our favorite artists, the ones who faced struggles that no one could have seen coming. But how well do you know the stories of R&B icons who fought their own battles with addiction? Drop a 1 if you know of an artist who overcame these challenges, or a 0 if this is news to you. Be sure to enjoy the video and show your support by hitting that subscribe button. Let's dive into these powerful yet heartbreaking stories together. Have you ever thought about the great artists in R&B history who had to face the worst battles with addiction? Samuel Moore is one of them. He was a legendary soul and R&B singer, famously known as half of the iconic duo Sam and Dave from 1961 to 1981. With his powerful voice and dynamic stage presence, he became an enduring symbol in music throughout his life. Moore was honored with inductions into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Grammy Hall of Fame, and the National R&B Music Hall of Fame. However, behind the glamour, Moore's life was filled with hardships. He faced tremendous challenges, from being shot by a jealous husband, spending time in prison, to struggling with a 15-year battle against heroin and cocaine addiction. Moore's journey to fame was far from easy. Reflecting back in 1986, he admitted that his addiction weighed heavily on the most successful years of his career, particularly during the 1960s and 1970s. The partnership between Moore and Dave Prater began to unravel in 1970. After their split, Moore fell deeper into drug addiction and struggled to escape its destructive grip. The following years were marked by tragedy, as their albums, after reuniting in 1971, failed to reach the same level of success as before, and their 1975 album was a complete flop. It wasn't until 1982 that Moore started to make efforts toward recovery, thanks to the support of Joyce McCrae, his wife, and later his manager. She helped him break free from his addiction, leading to a new phase in his career and bringing stability back into Moore's life. Etta James is a true icon of soul music, known for her deeply emotional voice that could move listeners to tears. She didn't just conquer soul music, but also made her mark across several genres like blues, R&B, jazz, and rock and roll, leaving behind timeless hits like Wallflower, Something's Got a Hold on Me, Tell Mama, and I'd Rather Go Blind. However, James's life wasn't just defined by sweet melodies. For much of her life, she struggled with heroin and alcohol addiction. Her addiction led her down a path of destructive actions, including writing bad checks, forging prescriptions, and even stealing money from friends to feed her cravings. In 1966, she was arrested for fraud and placed on probation. However, by 1969, she violated her probation and spent 10 days in jail. Despite this, James's life continued in a vicious cycle of rehab and relapse until 1973. Her addiction cost her many opportunities, and pushed her further into a dark place. But it was through these painful experiences that she was able to make a triumphant return to music, eventually penning more legendary love songs. Etta James's life was filled with hardships, not only due to challenges in her career, but also because of her ongoing battle with drugs. One of the most serious trials she faced was when she was arrested for heroin possession. However, instead of being sent to prison, the court decided to enroll her in a rehab program. Despite her efforts to overcome addiction, her struggle was far from over. James started using methadone, which she mixed with heroin, worsening her condition even further. Her journey was a long and painful one, but ultimately it led her to a place of redemption, where she reclaimed her career and became an iconic figure in the world of music. She spent 17 months at the Tarzana Mental Hospital, a challenging and painful period in her life. However, in her autobiography Rage to Survive, 1995, James admitted that those months profoundly changed her. Despite this, overcoming addiction was not an easy task. After leaving the rehab program, she relapsed, particularly after becoming involved with a man who also used drugs. James's battle with substance abuse continued relentlessly, even as she sought treatment in 2010 to overcome her addiction to painkillers. Despite the numerous struggles, she maintained her status as one of the strongest voices in music history, leaving behind a musical legacy that will never fade. Amy Winehouse, the British singer known for her signature deep and soulful voice, rose to fame with her unique ability to blend genres such as soul, jazz, reggae, and R&B. While she achieved incredible success in her career, Amy was also plagued by serious struggles with drugs, alcohol, and mental health issues. At the height of her career, she found herself caught in a dangerous relationship with substance abuse. In August 2007, she was hospitalized after overdosing on a mix of heroin, ecstasy, cocaine, ketamine, and alcohol. This incident led her to cancel several performances in the UK and Europe due to exhaustion and concerns over her health. In subsequent interviews, Amy admitted to struggling with depression, self-harm, and eating disorders. She shared with the Los Angeles Times that at that time, she truly thought her life was over. Her life continued to spiral out of control, as her drug use severely impacted her career. In 2008, Amy was banned from entering the U.S. to attend the Grammy Awards due to failing a drug test. Despite her struggles, those close to Amy saw another side of her. Singer Lily Allen once mentioned that even though Amy would sometimes go crazy from drugs, she was also incredibly intelligent, witty, and had a great sense of humor, often able to keep her composure in tough situations. In 2008, Amy made the decision to quit illegal drugs for good. In a 2010 interview, she shared, "I really woke up one day and thought, I don't want to do this anymore." However, despite her efforts, alcohol became a new struggle. She would stay sober for weeks at a time, but in 2009, she relapsed into drinking once again. In 2011, a leaked video surfaced showing Amy smoking crack cocaine, leading to an arrest. However, she was released after the police could not confirm what substances she had actually used. Despite being investigated, the case was ultimately dropped due to lack of evidence. When Amy passed away in 2011, rumors about the cause of her death began to spread. Some believed she died from a drug overdose, while others speculated that her death was due to a mixture of lethal substances. D'Angelo is one of the most talented American singers, songwriters, multi-instrumentalists, and record producers, renowned for his ability to compose, produce, and play a variety of instruments. He has become one of the most influential artists in the neo-soul genre. D'Angelo's journey to fame began when he helped produce the song "What About Us" for the R&B group Black Men United. However, it was his debut album, Brown Sugar, that truly marked a turning point in his career. Brown Sugar was a huge success, selling over 1 million copies and earning platinum certification. Music critics praised the album for redefining R&B and helping launch the neo-soul movement with its unique blend of soul, jazz, and funk. However, despite his fame, D'Angelo's life was far from smooth. As he toured around the world, his personal struggles began to intensify. He became increasingly uncomfortable with the music industry's focus on his physical appearance rather than his actual music. After his tour ended, D'Angelo returned to his home in Richmond, Virginia, and almost disappeared from the music industry. In 2001, tragedy struck again when his close friend and MTV affiliate Fred Jordan passed away. This loss pushed D'Angelo into a deep depression, leading him to turn to alcohol, and his mental health issues worsened. While his record label was eagerly awaiting his new album, his addiction made it impossible for him to complete the project. In 2005, he faced further turmoil as his girlfriend left him, his family distanced themselves, and he even parted ways with his manager. In the same year, D'Angelo was arrested for drug possession. His mugshot shocked the entertainment world, as the image of him at the time showed a man who was overweight, broken, and far from the confident, healthy image he once had. Soon after, a car accident added to the chaos, causing his life to spiral further out of control. He eventually entered a rehab facility at the Crossroads Center in Antigua to begin his recovery. Despite facing numerous challenges, D'Angelo is still regarded as an icon of the neo-soul genre. His journey exemplifies the relentless struggle he faced both personally and professionally. Donny Hathaway is one of the most talented soul singers of all time. Not only was he an outstanding keyboard player, but he was also a gifted songwriter whose music resonated deeply with millions. Rolling Stone magazine dubbed him a soul legend, and his songs such as Ghetto, This Christmas, Tomorrow We'll All Be Free, and Little Ghetto Boy remain beloved to this day. However, behind his extraordinary talent was a life filled with struggle. At the peak of his career, Hathaway began to face severe mental health issues. In 1971, doctors diagnosed him with delusions and schizophrenia. To manage his condition, Hathaway was prescribed numerous medications, totaling up to 14 pills a day, which he had to take twice daily. However, Hathaway's struggles were not limited to his mental health. He also battled drug addiction, which further exacerbated his psychological issues. The pressure from the music industry, combined with his fragile emotional state, created a storm that made it increasingly difficult for him to break free. Yet, at times, the medication would improve his condition, allowing him to focus on his music. According to his wife, Eulala Hathaway, whenever he felt better, he would often stop taking the medication. If you or someone you know is going through similar struggles, don't hesitate to seek support and help. Resilience and determination are the keys to overcoming difficulties. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any more meaningful stories. Thank you for your support, and I wish you all strength and perseverance on your journey. From 1973 to 1977, Hathaway's condition worsened to the point where he had to be hospitalized multiple times. Despite attempting a return to music in 1979 with a new album titled Duets, Hathaway was unable to overcome his health and mental struggles. Ultimately, on January 13, 1979, Donny Hathaway passed away at the age of 33 in a fall from a building in New York. However, his music lives on, and his name remains a legendary figure in the history of soul music. Donny Hathaway, with his deeply emotional voice and outstanding musical talent, became an icon in the soul genre. Yet his career was tragically interrupted by severe mental health issues. When Donny Hathaway began experiencing psychological issues, believing in paranoid delusions about the existence of hostile forces, his behavior became increasingly concerning. This caused alarm among those around him, including musicians and producers. One recording session had to be canceled due to his deteriorating condition. Tragically, Hathaway's career ended in a somber way when he was found dead outside the Essex House Hotel in New York in 1979. The police concluded that it was a suicide. Despite his immense talent and promising future, Donny Hathaway could not overcome the inner turmoil of his mind, ultimately becoming one of music's tragic legends, with a heartbreaking end to his story. Al Green's career is marked by both incredible highs and deep lows. As a legend in the soul music genre, he made an indelible impact on fans with hits like Tired of Being Alone and Let's Stay Together. However, Green's life hasn't always been smooth sailing. He faced many challenges from a young age, including being kicked out of his house by his father simply for listening to Jackie Wilson's music. Despite these early struggles, Green's talent propelled him to stardom, though his journey would be far from free of turbulence. Complex relationships and a troubled life led Green into drug and alcohol abuse, with several violent incidents linked to him. However, a major turning point came when his girlfriend committed suicide, leaving him completely devastated. Following this tragedy, Al Green decided to give up his secular music career and became a pastor. In the years that followed, he returned to secular music and achieved notable success, particularly with the song Put a Little Love in Your Heart in 1988 for the film Scrooged. Charlie Wilson, the lead singer of the Gap Band, also has a story full of hardships and challenges. Despite a successful career, Wilson went through a prolonged period of struggle when his band faced financial issues in the late 1980s. This led Wilson to fall into severe drug and alcohol addiction. From being a famous artist, he descended into a deep addiction, living on the streets of Los Angeles for an extended period, sometimes having to hide and survive on meager meals. However, with the support of a drug counselor, who later became his wife, Wilson was able to regain sobriety and gradually rebuild his career. His recovery is a testament to his resilience and determination to overcome challenges, allowing him to continue contributing to music and achieving great success, especially in recent years. Jackie Wilson, often called Mr. Excitement, is one of the greatest legends of R&B and soul music. With his powerful stage presence, energetic dance moves, and commanding voice, he was a trailblazer in the transformation of rhythm and blues into soul music. Wilson's career soared with over 50 hit songs, including 16 that landed in the top 10 on the R&B charts, and many more that topped the pop charts. However, his personal life was filled with struggles and tragedies. Jackie Wilson battled alcoholism, amphetamine and cocaine addiction, and his ties with the mafia, alongside personal scandals, severely impacted his career. A major shock in his life came with the death of his 16-year-old son, Jackie Jr., who was tragically shot near their home in 1970. This tragedy pushed Wilson into a deep depression, leading him to step away from the spotlight. The next loss came in 1977 when his daughter, Sandra, tragically passed away from a heart attack at just 24 years old. In 1988, he faced another heartbreaking blow when his daughter, Jacqueline, died in a drug-related incident. From that point on, Wilson's career began to fade, and he could no longer maintain the same energy and brilliance that had once defined him. Gerald Levert, the son of Eddie Levert, the legendary lead singer of the OJs, began his music career at a very young age. He made a name for himself not only with his exceptional musical talent, but also with his skills in songwriting and production. Gerald's success came through his solo albums and group work, particularly his collaboration with his brother Sean in the group Levert, as well as his work with the supergroup LSG, alongside Keith Sweat and Johnny Gill. However, despite his thriving music career, like many other artists, Gerald Levert could not escape the pressures of the music industry. To cope with the stresses of his career, Gerald Levert fell into drug use. This gradually became a dangerous habit and ultimately led to his death in 2006 at the age of 40 due to an overdose of painkillers and anti-anxiety medication. Although his family and loved ones explained that his drug use was meant to manage chronic pain from previous surgeries, Gerald Levert's passing was still a significant loss to the music world, especially for those who cherished R&B. Natalie Cole, the daughter of the legendary Nat King Cole, also forged a remarkable career in the music industry. Her breakthrough came in the mid-1970s with her debut album Inseparable, which featured the hit song This Will Be an Everlasting Love. This success not only earned her a Grammy Award for Best New Artist, but also marked her as the first artist to win this award as an R&B and African American artist. Despite achieving significant success in her career, Natalie Cole also faced numerous personal challenges. She struggled with alcohol and drug addiction, which had a considerable impact on her life and career. However, like many artists, Natalie fought through these difficulties and overcame them. She continued to release successful albums and became an enduring symbol of R&B music for decades. Natalie Cole's career faced significant challenges in the early 1980s when she struggled with severe drug addiction. In her autobiography, Angel on My Shoulder, she revealed that drug use consumed her life. She became addicted to heroin and crack cocaine, and at her worst, she even resorted to sex work to fuel her addiction. This led her to dangerous situations, including terrifying moments such as when she refused to leave a burning building or when her son Robert nearly drowned in the family pool while she was high. These events made Natalie realize that she was on a path of self-destruction. Determined to change, she entered rehab in 1983 and spent 6 months in treatment. After overcoming her addiction, she gradually rebuilt her career. She released the album Dangerous and made a comeback with Everlasting in 1987, featuring hits like Jumpstart My Heart, I Live for Your Love, and a famous cover of Bruce Springsteen's Pink Cadillac. Notably, the Everlasting album helped her return to the top and proved that she was still a major music star. Whitney Houston was one of the greatest performers of all time, with a powerful voice and incredible success. However, behind the glitz and glamour, she battled a long and painful struggle with addiction. She admitted in a 2009 interview with Oprah Winfrey that her drug use started off casually, but eventually spiraled into a serious problem. After the tremendous success of The Bodyguard and the birth of her daughter Bobby Christina in 1993, Whitney's family attempted to intervene, begging her to seek treatment, but she refused. In the early 2000s, Whitney lost weight and faced severe health issues. In 2001, her frail appearance sparked rumors about her health, but her representative explained that she simply wasn't eating. However, by 2009, Whitney admitted that drugs were the reason for her weight loss and deteriorating health. She had famously said, "Crack is whack," during a 2002 interview where she denied the severity of her addiction, but by 2009, she became more open about her struggles. Despite multiple attempts at rehab, Whitney was unable to fully overcome her addiction. She continued to battle drugs and alcohol, even checking into rehab again in May 2011, but her fight was far from over. It's tragic, but on February 11, 2012, Whitney Houston was found unresponsive in her hotel room. Police reports indicated that the investigation revealed a mix of alcohol, cocaine, and Xanax in her system, along with the presence of a drug-related substance called xylene. Whitney Houston's passing shocked the music world and fans globally. Despite her long battle with addiction, Whitney Houston remains one of the most influential artists in music history. David Prater Jr. was a prominent Southern soul and R&B singer, best known as one half of the legendary duo Sam and Dave. With his warm baritone voice and powerful high notes, he helped create unforgettable hits in the history of soul music. Sam and Dave were regarded by Rolling Stone magazine as the most successful soul duo, earning critical acclaim. They brought the dynamic and fervent spirit of black gospel music into mainstream pop, with iconic tracks like Soul Man, Hold On, I'm Coming, and I Thank You. These hits were recorded at the Stax recording studio in Memphis, Tennessee from 1965 to 1968 and became iconic symbols of Southern soul music. With their distinctive call-and-response singing style, Sam and Dave brought vibrant, church-like energy into their music, delivering performances that felt like gospel sermons, but through the lens of popular music. However, behind these successes, the duo's career was fraught with conflicts. The relationship between Sam and Dave was often strained and tumultuous, and after ending their contract with Stax, they officially parted ways in June 1970. After Sam and Dave disbanded, Prater tried to continue his solo career, returning to the Elon label in Miami. However, his independent career never reached the heights it once had, and he performed sporadically in the following years. During this time, Prater faced significant challenges in his personal life, particularly battling drug addiction. Although his wife believed he had overcome the difficult period, the reality was quite different, and he continued to struggle with his addiction. In the summer of 1987, Prater was arrested for selling crack cocaine to an undercover officer. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 3 years of probation. The court also ordered him to pay a fine of $1,580 and complete 150 hours of community service. Despite the significant troubles, his wife always held hope that he could overcome his struggles. Unfortunately, tragedy struck before Prater could turn his life around. On April 9, 1988, Just 1 year after his arrest, he passed away in a car accident. David Prater's story really makes us reflect on the challenges life can bring. Despite facing difficulties and making mistakes, not everyone is able to overcome them. What do you think about Prater's painful journey? Have you ever faced a tough situation in your life? And how did you get through it? Share with us in the comments. And don't forget to leave a like if you found this story moving, and hit that subscribe button to support the channel so we can bring more meaningful videos to you. Wishing you all a wonderful day.